Okay, today my project, my name is Donna and I'm from Breathitt County High School, and I've been doing this a couple of years, and this project is really a continuous of a couple of my other ones. The name of it is Math Takes a Different Shape. I'm going to let my students introduce themselves first.
My name is Paul McIntosh. I'm a senior at Breathitt County High School.
My name is Ronnie Noble, and I'm a senior at Breathitt County High School.
My name is Thomas Hensley, and I'm a senior at Breathitt County High School.
My name is Abigail Feathers, and I'm a senior at Breathitt High School. My name is Caitlin Noble, and I'm a senior at Breathitt High School.
My name is Dalton Reynolds, and I'm a senior at Breathitt County High School.
This project is about math and reading a lot of times, but to me, having these students up here is as much as part of this grant as anything, because it helps them get ready for the real world with like job interviews and stuff like that, especially with presentation. So what we're going to do is first is I'm going to let Alright, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Noble.
Well, we had to go get the cotton to make the pillowcases for the nursing home. And when we got them back, we had a measurement, 22 by 37, and we used the acrylic ruler to measure some of it, but we measured the template with this so we can get the right amount. Then we cut them out, and right here's Katie with tools.
You always have to worry about safety and make sure that you don't get cut and stay concentrated. You always have sharp objects.
And as you can see, we skipped over a little bit, but our project this year was, last year we made picnic tables for the VA Center and the nursing home. Well, this year I wanted to incorporate community service project on top of using math and reading. So what we decided to do this year was to make pillowcases for the residents of the Nimby nursing home. So we started out, our goal was to do 50, but we ended up making 64, and that was one for each resident in the nursing home. So Jordan's going to tell you what goes from here.
Well, we went, we had to sew them. We had to fold it an inch from the top, 2 times, so 2 inches. Then we had to sew up, and then leave an inch and sew over, then sew back down the other side, and we stuffed them, and we took them over there and handed them out, and them old people was happy.
Okay, what he's trying to say is they had to take and cut a measurement that was 22 by 37, and then when they had that template, then they could use that template to cut the other ones out. They had to fold it over from the top an inch from 2 different times, and then they sewed that, and then they turned it inside out, and then they made a U, and at an inch from the bottom on each side, they had to make a curve in that sew. So they used sewing machines on top of using the scissors and the rotary cutter. And one of the rotary cutters, a little incident about that, you know, I always teach for my students to be careful, to be safe, because the rotary cutter that Katie has is razor sharp. And when I say razor sharp, it actually has a razor on the inside of it. So I always preach that. Well, one of the adults that has helped one of my students in the classroom, I guess she thought she was beyond that safety precaution, and she ended up getting cut with it. So, I have always told the kids to make sure you're careful because it's easily to slice yourself, okay? So after they sewed it together, they had to cut that curve off, and once that curve was cut off, they turned it inside out, and then that made the pillowcase. So, like Ronnie said, once they went to the nursing home, the look on those older people's faces was pure joy. I mean, to me, that is as much as learning math and reading as it is to getting along in the high school, okay? But the kids really done exceptionally well. Some of these has been up here more than one time, 1 year. This young man here, he's one of my talkers, but when he come up here in front of everybody last year, totally blank. So next I'm gonna let Abigail Fetters tell you about the next step that continued with the math opportunities.
We had calculated how much it would take to pay for our dinner, showtime pizza. And what we had done was use math and went ahead and calculated it up beforehand to find that amount. And for each student, we had $12 each, and we went ahead and ordered.
So as she was saying, everybody had their own fee for their own individual fees, what a $12 amount. And so basically, they showed us how to use math skills while we was there. And, off of our selection, our total after that, we had our percentage count for their tip.
Okay, Doug, what he was trying to explain is Abigail told him about the prep work. So what we had to do is they had to make a list of what they wanted to eat. Then they took the menu and had to read it, and they wrote down exactly what the prices was. Once they got that total, then they had to calculate into percentages. And sometimes that was the difficult time, is the part of it that they've had the hardest time with was learning percentages, how to change that into a decimal form. Some of the problems that we occurred along the way was, again, just like my other projects, is finding time in the busy schedule, because everybody knows it's all about academics, 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 and you got to meet this time limit. So, and then student attendance and calculating percentages. So, thank you.